happened, and I'm live here right now, and it should be having volume. And this is the invite that everybody went to, so I'm just going to shut this off. Goodbye. Goodbye. Leave. It's a little frustrating with this right now. Goodbye. Um, here. Bring it in. Fucking too many cookie jar. Too many hands in the cookie jar. I'm gonna start doing this on my own. We're gonna try this again right now, folks. I'm gonna plug in my microphone, and we are going to see if that helps. Can you hear me out there in the world? I'm live. This is Lance Wright Recovery. I'm coming to you live from Long Beach. I want to talk about alcohol and substance abuse, but more predominantly, I want to talk about addiction and what it is and what it isn't. So today, I'm sitting here in my home, a recovering alcoholic and addict, but today I see alcohol and substance abuse as much different. I don't even see my wife joining in on this one, so this is really interesting. I don't even know if I'm live, if I'm making noise. And my wife ran away on me. I'll let it catch up. I'm a little perturbed is all. I set this stuff up and then this shit happens. Hey Zip. Tonight I'm sitting here, I'm going to be talking about addiction. I don't know if a lot of you are interested in learning anything about that, but it might be beneficial in your life to understand it by a little bit different kind of perspective. I want to pull you guys a little closer so I can see. Can you guys hear me out there? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. Hey, Rocky. Can you hear me? I'm having a difficulty with my volume tonight, so it's a little frustrating, folks. Awesome. Thank you, Zippy, for confirming that you hear me. Tonight, I want to talk about addiction in a different way. Everybody understands it as something to deal with alcohol or drugs or sex or gambling. But let's just talk about what addiction is. I'm a little hot. I'm under these lamps. It's new to me. But I'm doing this because I think people need to hear the truth. If you got going on, hey, Herbert, I'll tickle you. Well, wouldn't be the first time someone wanted to tickle me. I want to talk about addiction in the context, and I may not see these things very well at the bottom. Let me see if I can blow that up a little bit. Okay. Hey, I can't even read. I'm half blind. Hey, Sanino. So I want to talk, and I'm probably going to just focus in, and I promise you I will look at these things, and if you leave me a comment, I will come back to you, I promise. Oh, thank you, Ebony. I love you. Yep. Hey, I earned this gray. So when we're talking about addiction, we're going to talk about it in this kind of format. Our brains are hardwired and based on habitual patterns of behavior. What happens when we're little, we're taught 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4, how to tie your shoes. And when we're little, it's like our brain is a sponge, and what's being created are these things called neural pathways. And those neural pathways create our supercomputer or our executive functioning, where we understand, we learn. Everything is a learned behavior. Maybe a lot of you understand this when I say we're programmable beings. Everything we know or do is learned or is something that's imprinted on us growing up. If you're a young man and you're told men don't show emotion and emotions are a sign of weakness, guess what? You're going to grow up with a neural pathway that emotions are a sign of weakness and that men don't show emotion. The truth is, all men on this planet and women feel emotions, feel feelings. And if you can't express them, guess what's going to bottle up in you? Probably a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration, a lot of struggling to communicate what's going on in your life because of a neural pathway that's been created in that space. What about someone who's been traumatized as a young kid and feels ostracized and left out or disconnected? What kind of neural pathway does he have? I don't fit in, I'm different. I isolate, I'm different. I have a difficulty in social situations. Thank you, Ebony. Although I don't play politics and try to stay away from that stuff, doesn't serve me. I'm more interested in helping people find a better life. What some of you, Ebony, might not know is that after doing 27 years in the state prison system for an addictive lifestyle, I figured out what was wrong and changed my life. If you go look at my page, you'll see a photo of me on one of the old lives that I did. And it's pretty powerful to me that a young man at 21 looking at a life sentence could learn and find a way to live a better life and live free out here. That's what I do every day is helping people live free. I've learned the secret, so to speak, of transforming one's mind and in cord transforming their lives. Everybody thinks it's just getting sober. I can get anybody sober. That's the easy part. But living a life of purpose and undoing those narratives and those neural pathways that have an addictive component to them, that are based in fear and insecurity and angry and race and judgment and religion and all those other things that are sometimes troubling to one's soul and keeps one stuck, and they go back to drinking and drugging to deal with that or whatever their isms are, that's the real work of recovery. I guess it's simple as this: if you know it's wrong, practice the opposite. Let me go look at what some folks are saying. I was a minor one time myself, Ebony, long time ago. But even minors have problems with alcohol and substance. I was smoking weed at 9. Probably did every drug under the sun except for meth or opiates by the time I was 14. And my life was ruined because as a teenager, everybody thought it was cute and funny to get high and drink. Look at the little guy over there, he's funny. They didn't realize that deep inside, I was masking a very pained spirit and soul because my family was brutal growing up. Didn't have a dad. Mom was a drug addict, alcoholic in the 60s. And I was basically raised by my little dash-hound dog, wondering if mom was ever going to come home. So when I talk about this, it's serious. And there are people out there right now struggling with similar situations. And people right now don't understand, maybe some of you haven't even realized, that over 106,000 people a year die just from fentanyl alone, fentanyl related overdoses. 106,000. Some of you might watch football, Dallas Cowboys Stadium. You could pack it to standing room only, and there'd still be 26,000 people waiting to get into the stadium. That's how many people die annually. How many parents does that impact? How many brothers and sisters does that impact? And a lot of people aren't doing drugs because they're the problem. They're doing drugs because they're the solution. They help a person obliterate a sense of self they can't possibly understand. Let me see if there's any questions. I love Ebony, man. She's trying to put me on a religious tip or a government. You like broccoli and smoking herbs? Okay. What's up?
I'm going to give her a timeout.
Oh, I don't mind. If anything, I know you're listening in and giving me time. I appreciate it. I don't even pay attention, really. I at one time was basically a troll in life and made fun of other people until I realized it didn't work. And today I don't have to do that behavior anymore. Maybe there's something you're trying to escape from or deal with in life. Let me see what he said. Oh, dude, unknown 000 message retracted. Hey Hirsch, how you doing, brother? Sitting here just talking about addiction and the impact on our lives and what it really is and what it isn't. Everybody is focused on the alcohol and the substance or the eating or the gambling or the sex. And really, that's just a manifestation that's external. The real problem's in here. It's a thinking problem. It's a brain problem. It's a problem that's created over time and practice and life experiences that actually drugs and alcohol help me deal with these things that I don't want to deal with until, just like any substance or life issue, the problem becomes worse and worse. If you look at our society and you think about addiction, what are some forms that people are rigid in and stuck in that are creating problems in our society? Maybe it's race, maybe it's religion, maybe it's politics. Hell, all those things have a component of someone in a survival mode or feeling threatened, and they become defensive and aggressive to a degree that hurts other people. Let me see. New Delhi, Harsh. I'm from Long Beach, California, the LBC. Originally from Northern California, but now I live in Long Beach and I work every day helping people find a better life. Thank you for popping in and dropping a few words of wisdom. Do they have drug and alcohol problems in India, Hirsch? Just curious. I mean, it's everywhere, but I wonder what it looks like in India, or if you have any questions about it. Some countries are very hush hush about it, and a lot of people suffer in the dark. Well, I got a few people in the light. Appreciate you. The problem is a lot of people don't want to talk about addiction. But when we start to really understand that we all have problems and that there are solutions to those problems, that's where it really meets the rubber meets the road. And I guarantee anybody that's popped in here tonight or left a comment is struggling with something in life that they don't have a solution for. They're stuck in a problem. Maybe it's something mom and dad raised you saying men don't cry, or girl, you're supposed to be seen and not heard, and how that impacts your life. Let me see. Hey Cam, how you doing, brother? Sitting here talking about life, about problems, about how we're addicted to much more than drugs and alcohol. I know a lot of normal people out there, if you want to call it that, running around that don't even have a problem with drugs and alcohol, but they have an addictive personality. They have an attitude and a demeanor based on things that have happened in their lives that impact other people in negative ways. That's an addiction. When you have a behavior or a thought process that's problematic and progressive, you may very well struggle with an addictive issue, and sobriety from that is possible. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you're one of those folks who just rages and gets upset or pissed off. There's probably a place that comes from. I'm not even interested in the anger or the outburst. I want to know where that comes from, because usually anger is a result of pain and hurt, which leads to anger, which leads to resentment, which leads to problematic behaviors because I don't like that or I don't like this, so I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that to deal with it. A lot of people in relationships turn to alcohol and drugs to deal with relationship stuff or life stuff. And eventually, if you do something over a long period of time, it becomes a habit. That's what an addiction is. It's a habit. It's just a habit with problematic behaviors and actions that grow over time. Let me go look and see if anybody's saying anything harsh. What is my. I try to stay out of my opinions about politics and government stuff, my friend. I would say that there's a solution if people were willing to talk and listen and find common ground. But people become so defended in their lives and everyday life around me where they stop listening and they feel defensive. And when we become defensive and shut down and don't feel heard, whoever that party might be in whatever situation that might be, a solution is extremely difficult. And when other people are throwing firewood on the fire, so to speak, it doesn't help. I would love to see more people come in looking for a solution and talking about, let's talk, let's have a dialogue, let's see what the solution could look like, rather than people arguing and fighting in life. And I'm not even talking about that situation. I stay out of that. That's not my space. My life is about helping families and their loved ones that are struggling with alcohol, substance abuse, or other life problems that don't know how to live a normal life. I'm not the president, and I don't have that space. I'm not Zelensky. I love and I pray for that country and those people, but I want to stay in my lane and do what I do in helping people right here in front of me. And if you have a family member or a loved one that struggles with alcohol or substance abuse, throw a question in there. And if there's something I can do to help you, or DM me if it's too personal, and I will definitely respond and try to support you in doing something better in that place for that person. Let me see. I have a good friend, one of my friends that actually does some of my SEO work that is from India. Right now he lives in Dubai. Beautiful man, beautiful person, great spirit. One day I hope to visit India. Right now my focus is on building this out so that I can help people. I think everybody in the world could do better at supporting and loving one another and understanding one another and what separates us. Because if we can identify what separates us, we can identify what can bring us together if we're willing to do the work. Sometimes this change is really hard. People get ensconced or embedded in these belief systems, and it's very difficult to change. Because it's like, if I've played right-handed baseball my whole life, baseball, I know how to do it without thinking. But if you came up and said, hey, Lance, we have a baseball game today and you have to play right-handed, I'm in trouble. I don't even have that neural pathway. I've never practiced that. I don't know how to do that. I'm probably going to stumble and look like an idiot. Not that I wouldn't try, because I'm not afraid of failing anymore, because that's how I've learned to be a better person. But it's not going to be easy, and there's just not this neural pathway that says you know how to play ball left-handed. Let me see a comment here. Bless. You know what? Anyone that's willing to take a public office and fight for what's good, bless their heart. I pray for all of them. I pray actually that they come together and find solutions rather than stay stuck in problems. That's really all I got to say about that stuff. I try to stay out of it. It upsets my spirit to see people hurting one another. That's just the end of it for me. I spent my entire first 30 years on this planet living in that place. And it took a lot of work to just say, let's talk, let's figure it out, let's work together. And if you're not on that page, I'm probably not going to mess with you. If you're into arguing and fighting and being defensive and all that, that's not the solution, that's the problem. Amen. Absolutely, Brandon. I just can't. When I take a side, I alienate another side. And I don't want to be that person. I'd rather have both sides come together and we can have a human conversation about how we meet here, meet one another's needs to the best of our ability, which means compromise sometimes, and have a better life for all. Maybe that would be a gift, but I lift that one up to the Creator, and I stay out of that space, and I do my work of helping people. Nike Go, what's up? Love you guys. Thank you for chiming in and giving me a few moments of your time. If you have any questions or you have a loved one that's struggling with alcohol or substance abuse or any kind of behavioral problem that could be addictive in nature, that they have a problem breaking away from and that's impacting you or people around you, DM me or ask a question. Let's have a conversation. That's what I breathe and live. I believe that if there's a problem, there's a solution. It's just, are you willing to step into the solution, or are you so grounded and locked into that problem that nobody can take it from you? I love Jesus too, brother. I think that, in 1993, March 11th, when I got sober, when I found myself at that crucible, that dark night of the soul, that brokenness with snot coming out of my nose, crying on my knees in a prison cell, locked up doing a life sentence, wondering, who is this person? This is not who I am. Maybe some of you have had that moment of like, what happened to my life? How did I get here? And I didn't know what to do. And I remember a little prayer, maybe it's just a words of to the universe, however you express your understanding of a higher power or God or lack thereof. And I said, God, I can't live a decent life and continue to do the things I'm doing. Help me. You know, it wasn't like white lights went off or like an angel showed up, but my path, because I had a desire to change, began to open up. People started to show up randomly that I would have never listened to or never watched. And eventually, someone showed up that spoke about pain and hurt and trauma, the things we're talking about that are associated and that support a life of addiction in an unhealthy way. And he talked about how he found a path out, how somebody helped him start to look at things differently and begin to change things and live differently, and his life was better, and it might work for me. And you know what? 32 years next month, I've followed that path. It's not just 12 steps, it's a life path. It's being open to people that are willing to help teach me how to live better so I can help you. And in that path, my life has become amazing. So much so that this person sitting in front of you talking with almost 32 years sober and living a very decent life doesn't even know this person as much as I know the old nature and the old way I lived. If any of you chiming in want to follow me, subscribe, I would appreciate your support. I'm trying to grow this and get a message out of hope to people struggling in the darkness or their family members and loved ones. It's very important to me. That's why I'm doing this. You know, everybody outside of me thinks it's the money, 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 and all this stuff. Really, for me, at the end of the day, my life is about helping other people have better lives because somebody did it for me. That's really what this is about. And every subscribe, every like, every heart, every comment helps me expand and grow that message. And I appreciate all of you for being here and supporting this. Let me see. Self-control is a big thing. Oh wait, let me read up a little bit. I don't want to miss something. Actually, my big brother pursuing yoga, and I think that yoga is a great thing. A lot of the places I work with have yoga instructors, breath work instructors, and people with different holistic medicines that come in and support that part of the program. I'm actually really a big advocate of breath work, sweat lodge work, um, meditation. I think that those things help me find a calm space in my life so that when I'm confronted with a situation that where my anxiety might go up, I know how to go and bring myself back down to where I can listen and I can see and then communicate in an effective and positive manner. Before that, I just fly off the handle and go crazy in my head, and it would be up here. And I can't communicate when I'm up here. When my feelings or emotions are up here and ramped up, there's no communication. But by breath work and those holistic practices like you're talking about, Harsh, I'm able to bring that down, see you, communicate with you, and find a solution. I wish more people would do that rather than just operating up here. Love you, Night Goat. Thank you for the double piece up, brother. Any subscribes are appreciated because you guys are going to help me help other people. Even if it doesn't connect with you, your subscription, I promise you, if there's any questions you have today or at some point around a loved one or yourself struggling, let me know. Reach out to me. My email and my other information is in my bio, and I will definitely answer you ASAP because I really care and I want to help people. And I'm glad you're all chiming in to be here for me tonight. It's better, Harsh, if you use my email. I usually don't give out my personal number online or out in a public forum because there's a lot of people out there that use information. I'm not saying you would, but I just don't do it. I'd rather go through the email and build a relationship, maybe set up a Zoom with you and have a conversation one-on-one to see how we can help one another. That I'm open to. And it's not any bad thing. It's just a policy I have. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I got to protect my life, my family, and the world's a crazy place. That's why I'm trying to help it. All right, one person at a time, one situation at a time, sometimes. But I got to protect my family because the life I have today is precious. I never thought that I would have this life and be able to help people and live a successful life of integrity and character. And that's what this journey's given me back. Let me see. Yeah, absolutely. When I first started doing this, it was so difficult to change old patterns of behavior because they were linked to my way of being, my addictive thinking, my lifestyle. What I knew and what I did was so locked in. It's like playing right-handed baseball my whole life, but I never won a game. And you're trying to help me say I have to learn how to play left-handed to have a better life. It's just a whole different like neural pathway setup that I have to create. I can't just take what I want. I can't abuse people. I can't hate myself. I can't hate other people. I can't live from pain from my childhood and justify how I'm living my life today as an adult. And all those things, one by one, I had to chip away at changing it. And the discipline was insane. I remember there were nights where I was just so irritated and frustrated with this mental transformation going on in my life, but I refused to give up. What did I have to lose? I was sitting in prison with no hope. I wanted a new life. I was willing to go to any lengths to have a better life. And somewhere in there, a miracle happened and I found it. And now I get to help other people find it, like here tonight in my day-to-day actions. And I love it. Every bit of it. I will die doing it. There is no retirement for me. I may slow down and maybe take a vacation or two extra, but I'm always going to do this work, and I'm there for you and your family. Any of you that need help, you have my information now. I don't know if I'm calm and relaxed, but have you visited the Hindu temple in California? If not, please visit. You will find discipline and consistency. What's interesting with that is there's a place here in I don't think we can go there right now because we just had a lot of bad fires in the Pacific Palisades and along the coastline. I don't even know if there's a temple out there with a lake shrine, and they actually have an area where some of Gandhi's ashes were laid as a place of meditation and prayer, and it's a very special place. I usually like to go there once or twice a month and just sit quietly and watch the water and nature and be quiet and still. But I haven't been out there because it's so difficult with all the pain and the hurt that happened from these fires in California. I can't even tell you. I mean, it's like there's a part of my brain that's blocked out that area that I don't want to go over there because it just hurts too much because there's so much suffering and pain for those people that went through that. I have a lot of friends that lost everything. And, I support them the best I can, but there's nothing you can do to give back your home and your livelihood and your community. I would say, Brandon, try it out. If there's an inspiration in you to try it out, go for it. I personally like breath work. I believe breath work has helped me access some places in my spirit and my soul and my psyche that healed some wounds that I don't think I would have healed in therapy or group or any other way. Yeah, it's holistic medicine is a real thing. Let me see. Yes, thank you, Arch, for your prayers. It was. I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, it's like waking up one day and your entire neighborhood's gone for miles. Like there's nothing left. And it was a thriving community with a lot of people, and now it's just quiet, dust, ash. There's like a deep, palpable pain for those people. So if you want, please give your prayers to everybody in the Palisades, the Alton fires, or along Malibu coast. They could use all the prayers you can give them. And I really appreciate your support for them. Amen. If you would have told me, who is this unknown, 15 years ago, probably 2010, I had about 26 years of incarceration in on a life sentence. And the governors of California were telling us a body bag and a toe tag was our parole date. Why would I want to change? Why would I want a better life? Why would I want to help people? Because I didn't want to be the person that I was. And I found a path even in there to be free inside my soul and help people and make a difference. I don't know that I get up every morning an hour early just sitting in my living room with my cup of coffee, maybe my cat or dog want to come around, but I want to appreciate the opportunity for a new day and freedom. And I'm not talking about freedom, I'm talking about freedom. I don't need outside validation to like myself. I know I'm a man of integrity, and that's something that life gave me in that place of discipline that I went through. Because had I not done that, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. And even more importantly, had I not found a man that was willing to help me find a path out of that darkness, because I don't think I could have done it alone. I'm just honest enough to say that. I wouldn't be here right now. And I honor that man and I honor the gifts that he's given me and the lessons that he's given me through my own experiences and my own journey to help others. You know, when I'm sitting in a group or right now talking and there's somebody that has a problem, I understand I've sat in that chair. I know what despair feels like. I know what hopelessness feels like. Um, and you don't have to. There's a way out. You're not alone. I think that's the biggest thing I would tell people. You're not alone. There is a solution. Let's go. For me, the biggest thing I tell people is let's start a new conversation. The old conversation isn't working, obviously, or we wouldn't be here talking. So, what is it that you want to change in your life, and how do we make that happen? And that's what the goal is, and that's what the work is. Let me see. I feel like I'm sticking my nose in the camera to read this to you folks. When I look at the night, I know that, amen. So you're safe and your family, that good news. Amen. Thank you very much, Harsh. Can I ask the question you know, Narendra? I don't. No, I don't. No, I haven't met them, Harsh. I love them. My wife's just waving at me. Can I get another cup of coffee, please? I need a little help. Been a long day. I start my day at 6 a.m. on the weekends and don't get home until like 5. So if you knew my schedule and trying to help people, it's by God's grace that I'm able to have the strength to do the things I do. Um, you talk about, I want to share a story. Stories are important. They convey messages and wisdom. So my sponsor or mentor or whatever you want to call him, I call him like a father figure and an elder. The guy who I followed and who was teaching me to live a better life. We used to sit out every night and watch the sunset between two buildings and the barbed wire, because we were in prison, but we would always go to this fence, about 5 or 6 of us, maybe a few more sometimes. And every night, my mentor would like to watch the sun go down in quiet. That's what we would do. We're like little ducklings following him around because we didn't know what the hell. We just if he did it, it was what we need to do. And one day somebody asked him, "Hey, Rich, why do we come here every night and sit in quiet watching the sun go up or go down?" And he said, "I want to be reminded every day that I don't make it go up and I don't make it go down and that I'm not God and that I serve something much bigger than myself. And hopefully you guys find that one day." And I will never forget that lesson because today there's something bigger than me that's guiding this journey. I wouldn't be here without that. I have no doubt about it. And so I think it takes a lot of responsibility to change your life and get to this point, and I know it's possible. Let me see. Yeah, I don't even know if seeing the light, I mean, let's be honest, Brandon, when I was in that ad seg cell, probably the darkest point of my life, I didn't see a lot of light. The governor was still saying the toe tag and the body bag was our parole date. Um, the parole board was being very dismissive and aggressive when we would go in there to see if we could go home. That wasn't where I found my hope. I didn't find my hope in external like things, so to speak. My hope came from seeing change within. I think that the prison of the soul that we all carry within us, the pains, the hurts, the narratives that aren't healthy and they keep us suppressed, that prison is worse than any barbed wire, cement, gun tower, guard, anything. Because this prison had me bound even when I was free. And I know that may sound crazy, but I remember one time, it was like 2000, another quick sidebar story. And I was sitting in work, I was a clerk. In the prison, we had created a program to help people that struggle with a lifestyle of addiction, like gangs, criminality, you name it. It was a lifestyle. And we created a program. My mentor was the founder. And we were reaching out to all our communities because the prison said we could have a forum to invite people to come up to share the message and help those communities. And so we're writing these letters to our counties and it sent us and all this stuff. And one day I'm sitting there typing a letter, actually one night, and I realized I was typing the DA who had sentenced me to 17 years, 4 months to life. And I was inviting him to come to the prison so that I could help him help my community. And I was like, wow. I realized in that moment I was more free than I had ever been as a free man or at any point in my life. I realized that day that you can lock this physical self up, but not the mind, the body, or the mind, the soul, and the spirit. I was more free then than I had ever been. And it's a testament to this work of transformation, of identifying problematic behaviors or thinking or things that are addictive in nature, those narratives, those belief systems that don't serve us, and transforming them into healing narratives and helping others. Let me see, I see some writing in here. 9:16 a.m. in India. It's 7:48 at night, Harsh, and almost my bedtime. I'm an old fart. Well, I'm not old. I feel like I'm 23 most of the time, except when my body tells me different. The same people that make methadone and Suboxone. What's let me see. I'm not quite sure, Brandon, what you mean by that. Is there a question or a thought on the methadone or Suboxone? Because I know a lot of people, not so much the methadone, but Suboxone is something that's predominant in a lot of opioid related cases out here right now. Oh, my wife made me a nice hot cup of coffee to stay with you guys a few more minutes. Ah, that's good. God knows I need help. Hey, Harsh, email me. It'll be go to my Lance Wright Recovery. In the bio, you'll see my email. Email me. We'll set up a Zoom and we'll have a conversation, brother. We'll set up for next Tuesday, Wednesday, or actually Tuesday or Thursday. Because Wednesday, I'm taking a young man that I work with to Knoxbury Farm, a theme park, because I want to give him a reward for doing so well in his life. I think this is a loop. What do you mean? I'm trying to understand what you're saying, Brandon. I really do want to understand and answer your question if there is a question. A loop. I'm here with you guys, and questions are great. I love this stuff. We're all hanging out here on a, what is it, Saturday night? Amen. Or a Sunday morning for you, Harsh. Well, I got about another 10 minutes, guys. So if you have any questions or any thoughts, I'm here and I'm always available. If you want to have a conversation outside of here, go to my email me. We'll set up a meeting on Zoom. Love to help you, or your loved ones, or a friend or family member that's struggling in life. That's what we do, and that's why I'm here. I guess I'll just answer around. Let's talk about opioids a little bit. Let me see. Northeast Tennessee. That my sister lives in Tennessee. Nah, he's fine, unknown. So here's the deal with opioids. At one point in the recovery process, it was predominantly alcoholism. And alcoholism is a very dangerous substance. It can lead people to die if done too much. I have a really good friend right now that's incapacitated in a home with wet brain, and he had cardiac arrest for 15 minutes, and he's not going to function ever like a normal human being again. It's the most depressing thing you'll ever see. But on the other flip side of that, you have what's his name? Um, Gabor Mate talks a lot about it, but I'll just say it from my experience. With 106,000 people a year dying from fentanyl alone in the United States, it's kind of a call for a drastic sign. I work with a lot of young people that talk about, I've only overdosed 6 times or 10 times or 12 times. And I'm like, my mouth almost automatically like, what? It's not that they overdose, they do so much fentanyl, they die. And if it isn't for someone with Narcan or a medical professional available in that moment, they don't make it. But they're so wrapped up in that need and that desire to chase that escape that they don't even mind dying. And that's normalized. And if someone that's had that experience and gets sober initially through detox and perhaps 30 days of a residential treatment or some form of fashion so where they can stabilize, if it means taking a low level of Suboxone or some other substance such as that to help them navigate life while they rebuild and kind of rebuild a foundation around themselves and gain a clarity of living, I don't see a problem with it. I don't know that it's a life thing, but I think that it's a good stepping stone to building a life. And when you're ready, you go detox from that and you've already built a life that you just return to and you keep living. I don't think it should just be something that's thrown out the window of a van driving down the street for people. I think there's a prescribed path of dealing with those things in an appropriate way that helps people. But I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice. That's just my experience working in the field for so many years. Is that me, Brandon? What comment or facts do you have anything to add and do not mean that in a negative way? I'm all ears, Brandon. I was wondering when you brought up methadone and Suboxone, what the question was. I was and that it was a loop. Before I end, I'd love to answer that and get that squared away because I don't want you to leave on a negative note. I want this to be a platform of healing and education and learning and not any kind of negativity. And if there's negativity, my wife will just swoop, gone, you're on restriction. I guess. I don't know how that works. I'll give you a few minutes to respond to me, Brandon, before I call it a night. Coffee is so good. It's late night and I'm drinking coffee just to stay with y'all. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is, I think that sometimes people like to goof around. Harsh, it'll be when you go to if you subscribe to my station, or even if you just go up to the bio, there'll be a beacons thing there, and it'll also have my email in there so that you can reach out and email me. Yeah, this is, let me see, okay. Hey, I love you all. I'm glad and grateful for you spending this time with me. If you have any questions or there's anything around alcohol, substance abuse, addiction, craziness that we deal with in that space, or if you have a loved one that's struggling, reach out to me. You can reach out to me if you have a pen or paper at info@lifeoveraddiction.com and I will respond. As long as you're respectful, let's do and heal together. Am I artificial intelligence? I wish. I ain't got that kind. I'd be bouncing off like a tiger. God bless you all. Have a blessed weekend, the rest of your weekend. And I'll probably be going live, let's say Tuesday evening, 6, 7 o'clock. I'll put a thing on my YouTube station at Lance Wright Recovery. I hope to see you all there. Invite a friend. And if you have any questions you'd like me to address, email me and I will answer them. God bless, and may you find peace on your journey. Have a blessed evening, all.